Our planet is often called the Blue Planet. Scientists have been exploring Earth for many years, and we're always looking forward to the exploration and discovery of something new. Back in the days, the exploration of our oceans seemed to be quite impossible. We had no technology to explore without putting our lives in danger. Today it's a lot easier to explore and learn new things, thanks to the great researchers, scientists and explorers. We are finally able to discover and see some of the beautiful places we were only able to imagine back in the days. Thanks to them we can finally prove the existence of certain species, and most importantly we can understand the way our oceans breathe. New discoveries and knowledge are surely something we're looking forward to. The more we have, the more we start to understand how our planet works. Today we're talking about some of the most recent scientific ocean discoveries. The mythical sea blob. It's been over a century since we discovered a mysterious sea blob. Now that over a century has passed, we finally identified this translucent sea-dwelling invertebrate. Barthocordeus charon was identified off the coast of Monterey in California. It was found by scientists who used a remotely operated vehicle. It's only now that we can finally confirm the existence of this mysterious sea blob. Barthocordeus charon belongs to a group of sea creatures better known as lavarusins. These are mainly described as millimeter-sized creatures, with bodies resembling tadpoles and large heads. Our seas are teeming with these tiny creatures. There are larger ones with bodies extending up to 10 centimeters, but these are much less common. In order to eat, the sea blob has to filter its food through the shimmering parachute-like house. By waving its tail, the sea blob stirs the water up and pulls the particles right into its house. The smaller particles easily pass through the funnel. This then goes into a feeding tube that goes directly into the mouth. The bigger particles seem to get trapped, and form a dusting of marine snow on the house. In case a fish or squid crash into the house, or the big particles clog the feeding tube, these creatures usually just move on and build an entirely new house. Basically, they cannot feed unless they have their houses. The analysis and genetics of physical features prove this really is Barthocordeus charon. Today it's official. There really are two species of giant lavasian, Barthocordeus stygius and Barthocordeus charon. The final discovery of this mysterious sea blob is surely something to be proud of. We actually found out this incredible sea creature does exist, and scientists thought this species may have been lost hundreds of years ago. It's a fairly rare sea blob, and not many biologists have been able to see one. 500-million-year-old seaweed. 500 million years ago there were ventilated tubes filled with minuscule sea worms. They built them on the ocean floors and used them as homes. Today our scientists finally discovered the fossils of these curious homes. The fossilized finds included many latticework tubes, together with their miniature builders inside. The researchers revealed this was a tub of seaweed. Not only tubes were their homes, but they also revealed a secluded worm life. It seems that these tubes were sealed, so that each one of these sea worms had their own room. Scientists have said that these creatures would have led a lonely life. The researchers knew about the ancient worm Osea. These new specimens are far better preserved and abundant. They give us unprecedented details of the internal anatomy of these animals. Thanks to the new fossils, the researchers found out that Osea measured around 53 mm long and close to 10 mm wide. Osea has been compared to modern-day worms. The tubes themselves were larger than the worms. Some of the homes measured to be up to 50 centimeters high. One of the researchers suggested that these structures were most likely made out of collagen, and it was to protect the worms from the sea predators. Thanks to all the anatomical information that was provided by the fossils, we were able to place Osea on the Tree of Life. Scientists decided this creature belongs to Hemichordates. These are a group of marine invertebrates related to Enchinoderms. Sea cucumbers and starfish are part of this group as well. According to one of the researchers, these fossils are enigmatic. They're extremely rare, and it's only now we're able to prove which group they truly belong to. Scientists now know these creatures were primitive Hemichordates, possibly the most primitive of them all. the bottom of the ocean sinks. It's hard to imagine our oceans can sink, but scientists have found out that they do. The bottom of our ocean is more sunken than it's ever been. Throughout the years, melting ice sheets and glaciers caused by climate change swelled Earth's oceans. All of this water is additional weight of liquid that presses down on the seafloor, and this has caused it to sink. According to a new study, there is a possibility we have wrong measurements and predictions of sea level rise since 1993. We are underestimating the volume of water in the oceans and its growth. A recent investigation was made. The researchers looked at long-term impacts on the seafloor. They tried to evaluate how much the shape of the ocean bottom really may have changed since 1993. In order to do this, they reviewed approximations of mass loss on the land, ice melting and draining into oceans. They compared that to estimates of sea volume changes. The results showed our ocean basins deformed 0.1 mm per year, which may not sound a lot when we say it, but to make things interesting, there are parts of the ocean bottom that are deforming at a higher rate. Some places seem to be deforming 1 mm per year, which is quite a lot compared to the first calculation. The future accuracy of the sea level estimates should be notably improving. This is if the sinking of the ocean floors is taken into account. Swirling algae bloom, a mix of beauty and danger. At first it looks like a work of art, but neon green algae appears to be whirling in the Baltic Sea. Algae blooms are not really anything dangerous. They occur every summer, but the event did not seem to be as extreme as they have been this year. According to the scientists, the large swirl is around 20 kilometers across, and it was most likely created by a bacteria bloom. It's called blue-green algae. Diatoms are a type of phytoplankton. They're rich in chlorophyll, and they may be behind the green colours that can be seen on the surface of the water. These enormous algae spirals are interesting to look at, but their presence does not always seem to be a good sign for environmental health of certain regions. Phytoplankton and cyanobacteria are known to consume large amounts of nutrients. They leave the water deprived of oxygen as well. Highly concentrated areas of algae are usually called dead zones. The fish and other marine creatures are unable to survive and live in these zones. The water becomes severely oxygen depleted, and it's impossible to survive in such places. The past few years have been showing that the Baltic Sea experiences the lowest oxygen levels ever seen in the area. One of the primary causes for this is the human-caused pollution and sewage. It's been decades that we've been spilling all this into the oceans. It's believed that warm water might be less effective at holding oxygen, which also makes a lot of sense considering our climate change has raised the water temperatures of our oceans. There have also been previous heat waves in the northern hemisphere, and these are also having effects. New Ocean's Twilight Zone filled with unknown fish. Located in the deeper regions of surrounding Caribbean coral reefs, the Twilight Zone is an area filled with fish species we have never seen before. The researchers who are documenting these new species are completely stunned and impressed by the unique ecosystem they have found. They gave it a name, the Rhyophotic Zone. Located between 120 and 310 meters below the surface, this unknown place contains many fish that are related to the species we can find on coral reefs. It was thought these fish would not be able to survive and live in such depths. Luckily, we were wrong. In the area of just 200 square meters, the researchers found and identified over 30 newly discovered fish species. Despite their dark and very deep habitat, the fish in this region tend to resemble the colourful fish found on coral reefs. Aside from finding all these new species, they've also found out that many reef fish have double the depth range than we previously thought. Dr. Ross Robinson is a marine biologist at Smithsonian's Tropical Research Institute. He was a part of this research, and he claims that 1 in every 5 fish found in this region is a completely new species. Now that scientists have identified this zone, a place and home to a unique array of creatures, we hope that this will not be the end of our exploration. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.